I apologize for what I did because I understand that it was wrong. Even though I didn't go there, I thought I could do it at an arm's length transaction. But for a scumbag like you, Jack Newfield, that is prejudiced, you don't have no right to do what you do. You're not...
King continued to vent his anger and then had my press credentials revoked.
I write the truth. Which is the fact that we control who comes to this. It's a privilege, not a right, and I'm rejecting.
It's the First Amendment right to ask a question at a press conference.
It's a private property. It's a private event.
We were approved.
It's been changed.
Why?
Because I said so.
Here, take this man's tape out of his camera.
The argument spilled out into the hallway when King's men tried to take the videotape out of our camera.
No, I want the tape out of this camera. This is a private property.
King's stepson Carl also tried to intervene.
I ain't gonna be as nice as my father. I'll beat your fucking ass.
Hotel security was called, and the argument quickly dissipated. Right after my press credentials were yanked, I watched Mike Tyson being led away by a sea of bodyguards. Mike Tyson's relationship with Don King has all the makings of an American tragedy. I met him when he was 14 years old through my friend, former light heavyweight champion, Jose Torres.
I don't know, he's like when he was in jail, you know, he is now like in jail with all this bunch of people, you know, surrounding him and overprotecting him on behalf of Don King.
Mike Tyson was sent to the Tryon Youth Correctional Facility in upstate New York after growing up as a mugger and predator on the streets of Brooklyn. He was 13 years old. Bobby Stewart, a counselor at the reformatory and former professional boxer, first saw Tyson in 1979.
He had acted out in some way, and he was being escorted through the field by two of the bigger staff on campus. And reports were that he was be very careful of him, very violent.
Tyson told Stewart that he wanted to learn how to box. After teaching him the basics, Stewart then brought Tyson to a gym above the police station in Catskill, New York, to meet Customato.
That's it. See, ain't no way he's going to hit you then, right? And remember, it's always good to throw the punch where you could hit him and he can't hit you. That's what the science of boxing is all about. Remember, from the side...
D'Amato had developed many boxers, including world champions Floyd Patterson and Jose Torres. He spotted Tyson's potential immediately.
He said, barring outside distractions, if that kid is able to, you know, concentrate his efforts on becoming a fighter, and if he wants it, importantly, he said that's a heavyweight champion of the world.
The joy of finding one last great fighter may have prolonged D'Amato's life. And D'Amato saved Tyson from returning to a life of crime. He legally adopted him. Then in 1985, Cus D'Amato died. Jim Jacobs, one of Tyson's co-managers, took D'Amato's place as Tyson's surrogate father. One year later, Tyson fulfilled D'Amato's prediction.
That was a right to the body and an uppercut to the head, and Berbick is down.
In a devastating second-round knockout, Mike Tyson, age 20, became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history.
It's over. That's all, and we have a new era in boxing.
His managers, cornermen, and friends ran to congratulate him. Tyson kissed Jim Jacobs. But in March of 1988, Jacobs died, and Tyson lost his second father substitute. Before Jacobs was buried, Don King made his move, using black solidarity to seduce Tyson.
I mean, the perception of the public, blacks in particular, I spoke to them, they think they are proud that Don King is doing what used to be controlled by the white man, the promotional business, and that he's there because he's tough. You know, he doesn't take shit from anybody.
He even got Tyson to abandon his surviving manager, Bill Caton.
King actually came here and said to me, "Sure, I've poisoned Mike's mind against you, You give me my 4-year exclusive emotional agreement, and I'll unpoison him.
By the fall of '88, Tyson's life was in chaos. He was estranged from Bill Caton, and King was still trying to muscle in. But things got worse when he separated from Robin Givens, whom he had married 7 months earlier.
Robin had a tremendous influence negatively on Mike's character and emotion. And after she left, later in the year, Don found it very easy to jump in because that character that was so powerful before in Mike was in crumbles, was in shambles. And Mike was no match for Don at that time emotionally to battle his wit and his con.
King soon had complete control over Tyson's personal life and boxing career. Both have declined ever since.
Situation at the time, but
Rolling willingly just to try to get in the shot that will finish things in his
the uppercut.
What an uppercut by Douglas, and down goes Tyson.
In 1990, in a stunning upset, Tyson lost his title to Buster Douglas, a complete unknown.
It's over. It's over.
Mike Tyson has been knocked out.
Unbelievable.
And Tyson was indicted for rape. Everything his adopted father, Cus D'Amato, had tried to prevent had come true under the tutelage of Don King.
back up. Come on, back up, all the way.
If he went somewhere where the business was better and he became a greater fighter and more of a hero and respected and revered by everyone in sports and everyone on the planet, I'd say, Mike, I'd shake your hand because you did it. You did a great job. But that's not what happened. I'm jealous that they have my friend, and they've destroyed the greatest fighter I've ever seen.
If Mike Tyson fights again under Don King, it will add millions to King's empire. An empire which already includes a $5 million mansion in Ohio, condos in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and 2 townhouses in New York. In 1988, he bragged that his company grossed more than $100 million a year. All this from being the most successful entrepreneur in boxing history.
Mr. King, would you tell us what your present residence is?
32 East 69th, New York, 10021.
The only irritants for King are the lawsuits. 6 world heavyweight champions and more than 20 fighters have taken King to court. King has been sued more than anyone in boxing history and has paid more than $2 million in settlements. The possibility that boxing will ever be cleaned up is remote. State regulation is a joke. If Nevada ever did crack down, the action would simply shift to Atlantic City. And at the national level, there's no interest in regulation. Those who profit, the networks, the casinos, and the promoters, all wink at the abuses and say, it's only boxing. At the top of it all is Don King. We endorse him, we even celebrate him, as he turns young men of bright promise into victims.
All right.
Precious Lord, once again, your warrior goes into battle.
Tim Witherspoon is slowly working himself back into contention. Under new management, he has won his last 10 fights. Soon, his $25 million lawsuit against the Kings will come to trial.
Oh, yeah. All right, Tim, man. Terrible time. Terrible.
Your time! You're the man!
Terrible, man.
Witherspoon will never be as great a boxer as Tyson or Ali, but I will always remember him as the fighter who stood up to Don King.
You know, that's Don King. To rip somebody off is a feeling he get. And he get that big old knot in his pocket, and he be rubbing them. He loved money. And they say the root of all evil is money. And that's what he is, the evil man.
What really happened on Bloody Sunday?